Google launched a free way to practice for your upcoming interviews, but is it worth your time and is it actually going to help you? I tested it and this is what I found. So first, if you want to know how to find this, just go to Google and type in Google Interview Practice and you scroll down here to the interview warm-up link. And we can watch this very quick video to see how this actually works.
Can you please tell me a bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Lamont. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm currently certified in IT support. Some really great practices for securing a home network is always keep messing up.
So Google started the Career Certificate program to help people make that career transition. But we found that the one thing they had a hard time with was interviewing. We were working on other conversational AI research at the time. So we tried to think, could we use machine learning and large language models to build a tool to help you practice for a job interview? We started working with the certificate learners right from the beginning to understand how are they currently practicing for interviews and how could we help.
Experience, motivation, skills.
We needed to get people speaking out loud into the computer.
I would be a great fit for this role.
And then we transcribe what you're saying and analyze your answers, showing where you repeat a word or where it's useful to use key terms in your answer. With interview warm-up, the goal is to create the safe space where you could practice as many times as you like.
I don't know how it's made. It's like magic. You're learning to answer these questions in a much more professional way. Big confidence boost. I landed a job as a technology manager with the NFL.
When you click Get Started, it'll take you to this interview warm-up page, and you can see there are 6 very specific jobs that you can practice interviewing for. All 6 of these jobs match perfectly with the Google online certificates that they offer so that you can get free training to be qualified for these types of jobs. Now, if you don't work or apply for these specific types of jobs, Google also has a general interview practice bucket. It's actually more behavioral questions that are around your soft skills and collaboration. So this is really good practice questions for someone who's in college applying for their first job, or if you're an engineer getting ready for your behavioral non-technical interviews. These are some really good practice questions, but for everyone else, like us who work in corporate jobs like accounting, sales, and finance, these are really not that helpful. And to save you time, I clicked through every single one of these to figure out which ones of these actually have really good specific technical interview questions that you can practice. And of all of these, the data analytics one and the cybersecurity ones actually have really good specific technical interview questions that can help you prepare for the technical portions of your interviews. These other ones just seemed a little bit more generic and more around concepts. Okay, so let's just say you're actually applying for one of these more technical roles like data analytics. Some of these have subcategories of jobs within them, like business intelligence and specific things for cloud, or there's even advanced technical questions. But for now, let's just say we go with data analytics. When you click start, they're going to choose 5 questions from their overall question bank that you can go ahead and practice. Now, almost every single time, the very first question is the exact same no matter which job that you apply for. It's always, tell me why you would be a good fit, or tell me about yourself. It's usually one of those 2 types of questions. But if you actually want to see the full list of questions, all you have to do is click this button down here, and then you can see all of the potential questions that it would have shown you, because it's only going to show you 5 at a time if you do the start button. But when you click here, you can click through everything, and you can see there are 66 practice questions for data analyst roles. And they break them up between background, situational, and some of the technical. For those of you who are data analysts or data scientists, I went through all of the questions myself, and unfortunately, none of these are coding related. They're more around concepts that you'll need to know for your analyst interviews, but there actually is no practice quoting questions. So you're still going to need to go to LeetCode to practice SQL and Python. The next thing I did was I actually tested how the feedback feature works when you are practicing for these interview questions. And so you can either do it through wearing a microphone or your headset. When you are practicing these questions, it'll capture all of the audio and then transcribe that for you when you answer it using your microphone here, or sometimes the microphone feature doesn't work and transcribe everything perfectly, so you can actually just use your keyboard and just type out your answers. Now, I wanted to see how good the interview feedback is that they give you, so I actually submitted a really bad answer first. And the feedback that it gives is actually none at all. It will just highlight any job-related terms if you click this button, and it'll see if you repeat yourself, and it will try to find any talking points, but my answer is so bad that it actually doesn't have anything. And I just tried it a second time. No immediate feedback is given. You can just analyze what you say for job terms, most used words, and then they'll try to provide some talking points. But as you get towards some of these more technical questions, you can click this light bulb icon here, and it'll actually give you hints as to what an acceptable answer would be for some of these technical questions. And then one of the really cool things is if you click job-related terms next to the sample answers, it'll give you a bunch of words here that you're going to want to actually make sure you have on your resume to make sure it's optimized with the right keywords for the ATS. Now, I've actually coached folks that work in marketing, so let me see how good some of these marketing questions are. This one's pretty basic, so if you're applying for like a manager level role, you're most likely not going to get this. This is a good hypothetical question that you can actually practice. Looking a little bit deeper at some of these practice marketing questions, if you look at this one here, this one's actually a pretty difficult question. Imagine you work for a company where 50% of sales are made online and 50% of sales are made in stores. How would you measure how the company's online presence affects its in-store business? Let's see what Google thinks the answer should be. Compare the sales performance of stores with strong online presence to those with weak online presence. This can give you a sense of how the company's online presence is affecting sales performance of its stores. I don't think so. If stores with a strong online presence are generating more sales than stores with a weak online presence, then it's likely that the company's online presence is having a positive impact on its store business. That is not true. You actually need to look at other factors besides just comparing the online stores between two different places. It shows another way to answer the question as well, so let's look at this one. Survey customers about their shopping habits. This can give you a more qualitative understanding of how the company's online presence is affecting its in-store business. By asking customers about their shopping habits, you can learn what factors influence their decision to shop online versus in-store. This information can help you develop strategies to improve the online presence and drive more traffic towards its store. That's one part of a comprehensive, bigger strategy, but this by itself is actually not a good solution to measure how the company's online presence affects their in-store business, because these are just anecdotal surveys from random customers that you're choosing. This may not actually tell you if they choose to go in store or if they like to just buy online or if they do both, and what are the major factors behind that. Because just having a survey of customers is not always accurate, and it's not a proactive solution. So I'm actually concerned because both of these sample answers are bad. I think a better way to answer this marketing interview question is actually, first, you should start by looking at all of the individual store data. Look at the online sales that a store has made on days in which they are closed. Then compare that with the average amount of sales that are made in store from that same location when the store is opened. When you compare these two numbers from when a store is actually closed, you'll be able to see which percentage of its customers prefer to buy online. Then you're going to want to look at the delivery addresses of the people that order things online and cross-reference that with the locations of your stores and see if there's any correlation there. For example, if you notice that customers live within a 3-mile radius of one of the physical store locations, but they still choose to order online, then you can actually show that there's a positive correlation between online sales that are actually hurting in sales within that same store. Because if they lived close enough to just actually commute and go to the store in person, but they would prefer to buy online, that would show you that there actually isn't a strong rationale to have an in-store presence. And therefore directly affects that store's revenue because that customer who lives close enough to get there just chooses to order online. By comprehensively testing Google's practice interviews like this, I think the best value from here is actually looking at all of these amazing interview practice questions that you can get as it relates to these 6 specific jobs. And it's going to give you a mixture of behavioral and technical questions that you will need to know. But do not overly rely on the sample answers that Google gives you here because they're not fully comprehensive and are not actually the best answers. With the exception for really, really technical questions like this one right here. So if you want to know how to actually answer most interview questions correctly, you're going to want to watch this video that I have on the screen right here. And if you still aren't sure if you're answering the questions properly because you want to make sure you're practicing good answers and not building bad habits, you can sign up for a free coaching and strategy session down with the link below.